What up? It's your boy Black Bob, straight out of MIA with Antisteez.com, Square Biz in the building. What's good?
Alright, you ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. What's up, everybody? It's Goose, and we are here with Antisteez.com at Sweat Records next to Churchill's, rep in Miami, and we are with Black Bobby. What's up, Bobby? How you doing?
How you doing?
Good. Thank you for sitting with us today.
No problem.
The reason that we were so excited to actually get to interview with you is because we've been promoting the hell out of your album on the site. People love it. People that we've recommended it to say nothing but good things. People that I've recommended it to say nothing but good things. I like it. We wrote a record review on it. It was great. Got good response. Tell us a little about the album for people that may not be cool enough to be on Antisteez.com and cool with Black Bobby.
Sure. Well, Black Bobby's Negro Dialect is my second mixtape. We dropped the album version and a mixtape version that's hosted by DJ D-Up. It's the first mixtape that my record label's put out. So like I run a record label, Square Biz Entertainment.
Okay.
So we have, for the last 6 months, been building up kind of a business around the music that we put out. Like I'm a real music snob, like I love art, and like I came and put out my first mixtape back in Antisteez just as like I wanted to tell my story and put out some art that like really I felt like was really true to what I believe like a hip hop album should sound like. And now I'm trying to grow as an artist. So my second album is a little bit more diverse and has a little bit different kind of beats on it, and so it's a little bit more wide ranging. I think people can appreciate that too. I think Square Biz actually grew out of a party that we started on South Beach at Love Hate. DJ D-Up actually had the idea, and he named the party after the old school song, you know, I'm talking Square Biz. And everybody knows that sample from Nas and all that kind of stuff. So we thought it was like a really good fit for what we're trying to do in the game in terms of like bring back like, not necessarily the 90s sound, but like the 90s kind of approach to hip hop. So, you know, try to keep it real. And I know that that's a really cliche phrase, but, you know, Square Biz is trying to represent a lifestyle that's born out of hip hop culture and really trying to do it the right way and really bring a different slice of entertainment to the forefront. Because I think a lot of people in the entertainment industry right now, especially in hip hop, are quick to go to the lowest common denominator and try to promote from an angle that they think people already appreciate rather than trying to do anything innovative. And so we're trying to be a little bit more innovative than I think what a lot of the mainstream kind of hip hop artists would give you.
Let's talk about where you come from though, because a lot of hip hop, you know, is inspired by who you are.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, this man's like Mr. Harvard. Let's talk about that, because like I read that in your bio and I was surprised by that. So
yeah, well, the first thing is I'm from DC, and I moved to Florida to start a record label. So like all of my experience in music has been here in Miami. But I did go to Harvard. Actually, I went to Tufts University for undergrad, and I went to Harvard for grad school. And the reason was because I actually was I was an athlete in high school. I was very much involved in sports, football, basketball, and track. And I played a couple others. And then I blew out my knee my senior year. I had ACL surgery, and that's like a debilitating injury. So trying to recover from that was a little tough. And while I was doing that, I started focusing on academics, started taking more AP classes, stuff like that. And I got admitted to Tufts University rather than going to do like a 5th year of high school maybe to play football, which is what I could have done and played like Division I maybe. I decided to go straight to college. So I went to school and I got really involved in public service. That was like a really big thing in Tufts government. And I was the president to like change politics. And their vision was that we could have a generation of people who were dedicated to changing the world, but didn't see politics as a way to do that, and weren't really invested in the political system. Maybe we're doing work at a soup kitchen, or maybe we're doing work with children, like helping them to read and that sort of thing. And maybe get some of those people to start thinking about policy. And so we started doing that immediately after graduation. I ended up doing it for 6 years. And one of those years I was going to Harvard full time too. So we had an office at Harvard. I got admitted there for school, and so I spent a year full time like raising money for my nonprofit and going to class, which was just a total kick in the butt.
I'm
so,
sure.
Like, yeah, absolutely. So like after that, I was just like really burnt out, and I quit working at my nonprofit, and I graduated from grad school. And then I went to work in consulting, which is like the typical Harvard job that people get when they leave, and I hated it because I'm just really not a typical Harvard person. And so when I got out of there, quitting my job was really, I had a lot of pressure from my brother. My brother was like making beats. He's really nasty. So I'd hear more beats, and I was like, I'm a big hip hop snob. So I was like, yo, these are good. Like we could do something with this. So after a while, I was like, yo, you need somebody to rap on your beats. So I started rapping. I started working on my like little flow or whatever. I had rapped in college, like when I was running for president in school, I rapped on my campaign trail. And I spent a lot of time like writing rhymes and working with DJs. I was in battles and all that kind of stuff. So I knew I could do something. I just didn't know if I was going to be any good at like making whole albums or songs. I couldn't even count bars back then. So eventually I just quit my consulting job and moved down here to help him start his label, and I took some money and some of my friends' money and we did that. And eventually I started getting better and better at rapping, and then I decided I was just going to do it on my own. But I mean, that's the short story. I mean, the longer story is I was like, I hate music and I never want to do this because I couldn't sell like really underground-y kind of songs. And now I'm going at it a different way, I think. So.
What message are you trying to, push to the masses with your music?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing, I haven't really changed. I've had the same message since we started our nonprofit, United Leaders, which is about freedom and individuality and, kind of like the basic, maybe American, but I think human rights that, people should have, that, we all should be free up to the point where our freedom like infringes upon maybe your freedom or something like that. And that we should all have rights protected, and that we should all feel free to chase our dreams and do things that are great, because that's how we can become a great nation and a great world. And I think we're not really as focused on that as a goal anymore as a society. It's like, oh, we've done everything we can do, and now we're kind of complacent and we're kind of building out on the ideas that we already have, rather than trying to make like new ideas. And there's so few new ideas now. So, one of the things I wanted to do, if I was going to rap, first of all, is take that message that I had, like pretty much all my life, and just like bring that into hip hop and try to say to people, I think the thing I remember most from Boston was giving a speech to a graduating eighth grade, and I'm in a suit and tie, and I'm talking about public service, and I'm talking about the same things that I'm talking about right now, except I look a lot more like businessy, and their eyes were just like glazed over, like really tired. But if I go do the same thing right now with the eighth grade, and I'm wearing my hat like this, and I'm wearing a nice t-shirt, and I hand out a CD afterwards, it's totally different. I have their attention the entire time, and they hear what I'm saying, and they listen to my music, and they hear it reinforced. I think that's a lot more powerful of a message than going out and trying to be like Mr. Political Man,
Who do you see that's making waves that you maybe give props to?
Oh, I really like Saheed. I really like his music. I came across Saheed pretty recently, actually. I've known about him for a little bit, but I started really digging into his music recently, and I really like what he's got to say.
We just interviewed him.
Yeah, he's dope.
He's not dope.
And he performed with me here at Square Records for the release of my album, and he was dope. I really like LMS. He's a good MC. I came up in the open mics. I lived in West Palm for like 6 months. I used to drive down here to Fort Lauderdale and to Miami to do open mics with whoever would take me. So I know the Benchwarmers clique from that, and I love those guys. And I know Melodic, who's an MC around here, from that, and some other people too, producers, etc. Rock and Freeze and some other guys who are really good artists, and I really appreciate what they do.
I want to say thank you on behalf of Antisteez for granting us this interview. We look forward to hearing from you again, and we'll definitely follow you on Facebook and Twitter to see what your next move is.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All day.
What up?